What's up everyone, it's Scher talking. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video we'll be talking about news. I know you guys like news. We have two upcoming banners, yet again double banners. We have to get used to this because in JP there are plenty of times where they release double banners. In my opinion it's good because you can decide which characters you want, but if you like all of them, yeah, sometimes you have to purchase some gems. Both banners are SaGa Soul banners. These are extremely rare banners that only got a rerun recently on JP, so they run this, and if you don't get it now, you have to wait a lot to have another chance. Well, the first one is SaGa Soul Ruby. This one is unlimited SaGa banner that brings 4 characters from there. We have Ruby, it's a mage, there is Lara, a spear user, Xentos, and Iskandar. We even got the information about the changes on these characters. They got some buffs. Some of them are interesting, some not so much. This is the first banner. Well, this one is interesting. And then we have the other one, Netwiser. This one here has characters from different games. There's Skya from Romancing Saga 2, if I remember. Selma, it's from a mobile game that never got released here. The Bellstern is from Saga Frontier 2, if I remember correctly. And Netwiser is from Romancing Saga 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we have a way to summon for both, but the game only announced it in the Taiwanese video the first banner, so we have the final status for then. I'll be giving a look on this video. I'll probably give another look when we have information about the second part. So here we are on Reddit in a post by Hands4A3. Thanks so much once more. You're doing an amazing job with the translation, and also it's super fast and reliable. So Iskander is the first one. We have 109% STR now. He was buffed and his charisma was buffed too. This character has one of the best status distribution in the game. He has very high STR and very good endurance in Wheel, as you see, 90%. His dexterity and agility suffer a little, but it's not that he really needs this by the way he works. His intelligence is pretty bad, love and charisma on average. He's actually pretty similar to the last version of Barthélemy, in a way that he gets a defense enhancement every turn. The good thing about defense enhancement, it's just that it's not guard up. You can use both together and you decrease damage even further, or you can use another defense enhancement, like the one that comes from the first Snowy. Or even from Nawal's daughter, so he will barely take damage. Remember, he has very good defensive status, and also he gets an STR buff of 15% volley with the first passive, and the second one gives him another 15% STR buff and a wheel buff too, so he's even better fighting against magical attacks. 30% every turn stacking. It's amazing. The good thing about this guy is just that in the future we'll get craftable weapons and weapons with better holy stuns. That means that characters that self-buffs get better improvement than characters that just rely too much on passives, because the power will come much more from the weapon than just the passives of a character. So those that have status buffs will shine. So that's a very good kit for the future. It has high battle tension, so 20% increase in damage and 1+ BP on start, because he has some very good rotations. He gets this first attack that deals slash and blunt. It also recovers his HP by around 700, so he can always heal and do damage while doing that with only 3 BP. It's pretty cool. His second attack is a 7 BP AoE slash and blunt attack that can be used twice because of high battle tension. And the last one is a nuke that gives him morale up by 5 turns. So what does he do? He opens with the skill number 3 and then keeps cycling skill 1 that heals, do damage, and he just gets more status. He's one of the best boss killers on release. The next one is Ruby. She got a buff to her agility, and her status distribution is very good as well, kind of similar to Iskandar. She can take some damage, has high agility, intelligence, and she was heavily changing from JP. Now, she has a 50% chance on the start of a turn to get 25% buff to intelligence and +2 BP. So I guess they just try to change. Instead of giving a lower buff every turn, they wanted to give a better buff, but with a 50% chance. I much prefer the stable one than this one, but okay. The second one, she gets something pretty unique. On the start of a turn, she can debuff Will of a random enemy by 15%. This should work better against bosses that are only one target instead of multiple ones, because you will not have control over this, and it's not as bad as if seems, because we have Mayor that debuffs 20%, but with a guarantee. But imagine in a long fight where you need to take advantage of an enemy weaknesses to stun, let's say, but it does have very high will, and you can just bring this and it will help you get a stable chance to inflict stun. She also works pretty well with Wicked Witch. If you have her, you will just keep debuffing will and reaching a point. She also has a skill that debuffs will, so she does not rely only on the passive. And then the last one is just the normal fired up 6, 30% increase in damage, the only damage passive. She has a 0 BP skill, so that means that she does not use normal attacks. Her second skill was changed to debuff Intelligence. It's an AoE attack with good damage, but then you will usually use this every 2 turns. Well, you have to cycle between the 0 BP spell and then this one to debuff Intelligence. The good thing is that it debuffs 20% instead of just 15. It does damage, but yeah, it's not reliable for the main Intelligence buffer, so maybe she can be your secondary one. And the third attack is a triple S damage nuke with 10 BP coast. So maybe you save this for nuke after you trigger her passive number 1 if you are doing her 4 damage, and then decreasing will to increase the damage even further or inflict status elements. That's the way she works. She also has an S style, so she has something to inherit, just like Iskander 2. Next one is Xentos. This guy was buffed for a lot of STR, going from 90s to 105%, increased to agility to reach 95. Very nice. He also can take some damage, although not so tanky as the ones before him. We'll talk about his skills first, because he starts with a 2 BP Pierce and Slash attack that's kind of old, but not so bad. The second skill is a C Power AoE Pierce that's similar to Marvelous Slash from Grey. It's not a bad attack, but also nothing special. It's not about the first 2 skills, it's all about the third one. The third one is a 4S attack with Pierce. It's extremely powerful, and this thing here can even be used with a different setup. Well, his first passive has a 25% chance to trigger this attack when using any of his attacks, even a normal attack. We saw cards like this before, like a version of Katarina, but she was not even close to this damage level, or even the second version of Creator that can use Repent by use of any of his attacks. So I don't know, 25% chance is not high, it's not reliable, but if you have a very long fight, maybe it even out. And then you can also try to kill a boss enemy by RNG, maybe using normal attack on turn 1, getting into trigger, and then on turn 2 you use this attack, and the attack itself can trigger another one. So yeah, good, but only with RNG abuse. I don't like this too much. But then the second passive, when he lands a weak attacks, he increases his own STR. Extra large effect should be 25% if I remember correctly. So if he uses skill number 3 and it triggers another use, he's gonna buff himself twice. Then the third passive is fired up 6, so 30% increase in damage. It's the only damage passive, so this guy is strong, kind of relying on RNG, I don't know. You will find more reliable sources of Pierce in the future. The last character is Lara, and Lara has a lot of changes, not to the status. They are the same as JP. She has 108% STR, 85 agility. Her status distribution is not as cool as the past characters, but she does have good status too. Well, the first passive is stolen from the future. She has a 15% increase in damage on HP being full, and then 50% chance to evade when being attacked. This is not related to being on full HP, so this is pretty cool. It comes from Leon, the second version of Leon, and it's a very recent passive on JP. So remember, we got Emilia and Will. They have 50% chance to evade as well, but they have to rely on people being alive. She just says, screw, no, I don't need that, and I will also get an extra effect. That's Lara for you. She also gets 20% increase in damage at all times and 30% more on one counter. That is pretty cool because she's a counter unit. Then the third one gives her 10% increase more and +2 on the start of battle. So we have is 10, then 15, and then 20. That equals 45% increase in damage. Not bad. +2 BP, extra damage on counter, chance to evade as well. Yeah, That's nice, but she does have to stay on full HP, but because of the evasion, it's not so bad. And she's also a counter evasion tank because of the skill number 2. She enters using a single target attack and then counters with AoE B damage by evasion. That's pretty nice, and every time that she counters, she also recovers a very small amount of HP. Should be around 130 based on her charisma and love. So a very nice setup for counter, but she clashes with Urpina. Urpina recovers BP when she counters, so depending on the number of enemies, she can keep using Torrent, and Torrent has A power. So I don't know which one will do more damage. She does have very good passives and even this counter increase, so we need to do some tests. The other 2 skills are Deep AoE Pierce that has a wheel debuff, but her intelligence is pretty bad. It's just an attack that you saw before in Brownie. And the third skill is Unique, 9 BP for 8 power AoE and also recovers her own HP. This is pretty nice actually. Most of the characters have AoE attacks with 8 power around 11, 10 BP. Now she reduces this to 9 and can use it on turn 1 and on turn 3 when farming. He's a farming character. We'll also be able to use this when you don't need counter, and can also use counter pretty well. So plenty of different roles for the character. So these characters will fill different roles for people that are missing out on what they offer, but I'll make a full review tomorrow when we get the update to rsdb.com, and also when we see new information about the second banner, I'll make a different video. But that's about it, guys. What do you think about this? Are you excited for this new banner? Thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you still haven't, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye.